Are you a victim to digital noise? And if you're not sure what digital noise is, it refers to the overwhelming volume of digital communication, whether it's emails, notifications, or messages, and distractions from technology. And it has a significant impact on our productivity. And as a solopreneur, I am totally a victim of digital noise. And it's something that, I've done a little bit here and there to try and minimize it. But in this series of videos, hopefully I did one earlier on Inbox Zero. If you didn't see that, make sure to take a look up here or there, not sure. But in today's video, I wanted to go through like the different areas where digital noise creeps up on us. And I'm going to share a little bit of stats and then a little bit of, how that affects us, but then also, some tips on like how do we actually combat some of this. So the first is that, did you know that the average worker receives about an average of 121 emails a day? And as solopreneurs, we do everything. We wear many hats. We are dealing with our vendors, writing newsletters, creating content, recording, and constantly checking email really interrupts our flow and eats into that limited time that we have to do this, which is creating our business. A tip is you can try to set specific times. So instead of working outside of your inbox, only check it at specific time where you know you're going to be triaging it, and then deal with the things that can be done within under 2 minutes, and then everything that else that requires 2 minutes, then go ahead and set a task and find time for later to do it. But then just go through one after the next so that you can clear it out. And then it opens up space in your mind that you're not constantly wondering like, oh, what else is in my inbox that I might have forgotten or missed. It's also good to unsubscribe from a lot of newsletters, which, again, that doesn't really matter. Like, I know how many times have you like subscribed to get like 10% off or 15% off. And the next thing you know, you're getting a barrage of emails, sometimes multiple ones during the day. So, and that's just noise, right? Like, and then that's also work for you to try and clear that out if you're trying to do Inbox Zero. So make sure to also unsubscribe from non-essential newsletters, and you have to decide what's essential and what's not. The next one is task switching and notifications. It takes 23 minutes and 15 seconds to refocus after notification or task switch, which is incredible to me because, we think, oh, I remember back in the early 2000s, oh, being a multitasker was a thing. What we've come to find out is really it's not a thing. It means that you're switching back and forth, and what looks like productivity is actually subpar work. Every minute counts. So let that siren go by. And if we're constantly, there's a lot of sirens here. And if we're constantly being interrupted by notifications, such as from texts, emails, or social media alerts, you know which ones I'm talking about, that's lost to either billable work or work that you need to do to build your own business. That even slight shifting to just go look at something really quick, imagine that takes us an average of 23 minutes to get back to that focus zone. Great tip for this is to turn off notifications for things that are just not essential and stick to time blocking and working on certain pieces of work for a certain amount of time. And I think if you do this a few times during the day, you'll be amazed at how much work and how much more productive you can be. The third area of digital noise is multitasking and cognitive overload. That multitasking can really reduce productivity by about 40%, which is incredible. We often feel the pressure to get things done as we see them. And really what we need to do is prioritize single tasking. I just chatted about it a little bit, time blocking, focusing on one task at a time. And this can really help us in the long run feel less scatterbrained and actually get things done and get them done at high quality. One tip here is you could use the Pomodoro technique, which is basically setting a timer for a certain amount of time to focus. And then once that time is up, you can take a little bit of a break and then do it again and then restart. The next one is information overload. 74% of workers feel overwhelmed by the amount of information that they have to process. And so, as solopreneurs, dealing with clients, dealing with a lot of requests coming in, maybe you're building your business and you have to be on social media. You're like researching, so then you start scrolling. There's a lot of information there, or maybe you're like on YouTube because you want to learn something, and the next thing you know, you're like watching all the snippets of Game of Thrones or something online. So this is where there's a lot of information that can lead us down rabbit holes. One of the best tips that I've heard is really curating, and actually I do this a lot. I, like, for example, don't just watch news online. I actually only look at specific news outlets to get the overview, and then that way I can kind of see, okay, like what do I want to look at and listen to, and then I do that for 10-15 minutes, and then I move on to the next thing. But I have turned off notifications. New York Times no longer gets my attention, popping in every 20 minutes to make me go back into the app and read something. I actually wait. I go in and look at it at my time when I find that it's the right time for me, and then move on from there. There's a number of things that you can do to help combat this digital noise. Obviously there's like the first is simplifying our tech tools, not having so many tools pinging at us and trying to grab our attention. So rather than trying to adopt every new platform, trying to really whittle it down to the ones that are essential, that you really need, and then really managing how that notification gets your attention. Maybe it's like you don't get a notification every hour, maybe it's only once or twice a day. Create focused work times. Talked a little bit about time blocking. Scheduling daily blocks for certain types of tasks actually really helps, and also making sure that you're focusing on those critical tasks that need to be done. Another way you can combat this is decluttering your digital channels, decluttering your email, decluttering your phone. Then the other is batching up your routine tasks, and doing this really helps with increasing your productivity. Before, I used to think, okay, I'm going to think of an idea for a video, draft it, get the title, I would do everything all the way to recording and then producing. And really, that's not the most efficient way, because you're actually also task switching as you're moving from one phase to the next. So instead, now when I do brainstorming, I open up my notebook, I stand at my counter. For whatever reason, I prefer to stand. It seems to help me write real quick, and I just use my notebook, because once I start opening an app or go in my computer, I find that I get super distracted. So writing it in a notebook on a fresh sheet of paper, that's how I do my brainstorming. And then I also have a set time for when I record, and a set time for when I do edits, and then set time for when I upload to YouTube. Doing some of these things, like, I'm not perfect by any means. I still have way too many apps on my phone, and I'm slowly getting there. I started with Inbox Zero, doing some more digital decluttering and organizing of my files so that I can be a little bit more efficient. And I'm hoping to share that in this channel, and I'm hoping that because I have lowered the digital noise, that I'll be able to share more information. Make sure to stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share in case you know somebody that might find this also helpful. And yeah, I will see you in the next one.